Okay. Yeah, we're talking with Richard about his 2003 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra. Rich, you have a lot of collector cars. I've been envious of a lot of them. Just beautiful vehicles. One of my favorites that you've had has been this Cobra, and I've seen the way you've babied it for years. But tell us a little bit about that one. That's a great vehicle.
Well, I've had many Mustangs, and I have a couple of Cobras right now. This is one of which. This is probably my favorite of all Cobras and Mustangs for the simple reason I've really enjoyed it. I've had it a little over 4.5 years. I'm the second owner of the vehicle. When I had purchased it, it was all stock. I've done some mods to it, like such as body kits and um, some motor work. I've sent out the supercharger to Stegmeyer to be ported and polished. They added a lot of chrome motor parts, and I had it specially tuned. And it's got independent rear, independent suspension on each wheel. So the way it handles, the way it drives, it's a hardtop. It's a phenomenal car. At 15 pounds of boost, it dynoed on a Mustang dyno with 495 horsepower, and now it's running 16.5 pounds of boost, which gives you about 520 rear wheel horsepower. That's about 600 horsepower from the flywheel. Now, I don't build these cars or design them in such a way that I can race them on the street or race them at the track, because I haven't raced this car on the street or at the track, but I just like them to be able to look nice, go fast. It's just a hobby of mine. I have various collector's cars such as Grand National GNX, Celine Mustang, a couple of Cobras, and I have to sell a few of these simply because I have 8 or 9 vehicles and I'm just one person, and now I'm going to be 57 next month, and I can't store all these vehicles anymore, and I can't drive them all, so I need to sell a few of them, and this is one of which I have to sell.
A quick question. I know that when you got the '03, you were telling me something about the manly rods or the special
Right.
gears. I
This
thought that was
particular,
interesting.
the '03 and '04 Cobra, has a hand-built motor by Ford in which they use forged pistons, manly H-beam rods, connecting rods, the forged crank. There's the signature of the two builders of the motor. It's on a plate. It's on the motor. So it's one of the very rare motors that Ford has put out. It's a motor that can, with bolt-ons, that people have gone up to 750 horsepower and more to the rear wheels just by
Wow.
adding bolt-ons to the motors. These motors are able to take it, and that's what I enjoy about it. It's got the T56 6-speed transmission, and it's a wonderfully put together vehicle. When you drive this car, you feel like you're driving a professionally, extremely high dollar race car. Just the way it handles when you're driving on the street from 0 to 60, the tightness of it. Um, the handling, the performance, the responsiveness, it's amazing.
Hmm. And I know on all your vehicles you don't smoke, obviously, and
No.
the interior's clean. Beautiful car. Folks, I've known Richard for years and years and years. Very loving towards his cars. More, I don't, what is the terminology, show and go, or just kind of, you like to show them off, you like to polish them up,
Right.
add some mods, and then have a little fun with them while you're cruising
Right.
around, but mostly cruising,
Strictly
not
cruising and
abuse.
going to a car show, but no abusing. I don't abuse my cars. I've had people even want to race me that I wouldn't even race for the simple reason I'm just not that type of person. I don't want to get any tickets, and I don't want to do any damage to my vehicles. But I do enjoy following the recipes, and I've got to meet some of the gurus in the business that are able to educate me and help me put together this collector card collection that I have, and to fine tune these cars and have them all looking beautiful and going extremely fast as well.
Well, you went, was it this one or one of your other Mustangs that you went all the way to North
This was
Carolina?
the one I took to North Carolina to Amazon Tuning Solutions for them to put it on the dyno and fine tune it so that everything would just be tuned properly. And I had that done when I had the new supercharger put on this. When I had the supercharger sent out to Stegmeyer, imported and polished, and as well as all the other
And
things that were put on.
that's a special dyno, right? So the
Yes, the
figures
Mustang
that
dyno.
you're show, I think we've got pictures of the printouts or whatever. And if
Yes, we
anybody
do.
has any questions, I can figure it out. But that's a special Mustang dyno,
Dyno.
so it's accurate for
Yes,
Mustangs.
yes, it's very accurate. And I have Bassani mufflers and Bassani X pipe and high flow catalytic converters on the vehicle. It's got a 3-inch upper pulley and a 4-pound lower pulley. And one of the things I really like about it's got a 70 millimeter single blade chrome and polished AccuFab throttle body, which is really nice. Instead of the dual openings, you have one big single blade, so that gives you a lot of extra air intake into the supercharger. Um, It's a very nice vehicle. It's
One of my favorite parts, and if I had a good enough microphone, which I don't, I would love to record the exhaust note. That is
yeah,
awesome. And
the sound of the supercharger and the exhaust is very unique with this particular vehicle. It's, to be honest with you, it's one of a kind. When you pop the hood and somebody sees the motor on this car and you touch the throttle with your hand under the hood and you give it gas, people will be very impressed. It has a unique sound, and you know it's extremely powerful.
yeah, so if you're in the market for a Mustang, or if you follow and get into Cobras and so forth, this one has been babied. I've been around Richard. He's got an extensive collection of vehicles, your GNX, all these different, I mean, just gorgeous cars. And this one's amazing. That's why I wanted to put a recording in some of these photos, because when you're on eBay or Craigslist and you're looking, you don't know anything about how that really is. These are special, so definitely wanted to give you just the benefit to be able to see and hear a little bit from Rich. But thank you, Rich.
Thank
I
you, Dan. I
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Yep.